Hello there, and welcome back to the Savage Situation Podcast 2.0. It is good to be back. It's been a very long time since we were last here. Now, for you guys who are new, welcome in. For those of old, you'll know that the last two seasons, 13 episode long runs, we've had like amazing guests from the gaming world. The podcast has always been focused on finding out about people's stories, but their life stories around video games and how they got to where they are today, talking about their careers. It's been amazing. We found out so much about some of the brilliant people working throughout the course of esports and games and music and telly and stuff. So that's been amazing. But the more I've thought about it, obviously that was the last season was recorded during the lockdown as well, during the pandemic. We didn't manage to video any of it at all. The first season, I really liked doing that. But the more we thought about it, the team and I, we were saying, wouldn't it be great to do something weekly? Every single week, a brand new podcast episode. We kind of like have we grow an organic audience who come and just enjoy it for what it is. Doing these kind of blocks, it's hard for you guys to kind of watch each and every episode. And it dawned on me what would be a beautiful thing to happen to guarantee that we can deliver something every single week, guest or otherwise. And that was to introduce my co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely elated to welcome the new co-host of the Savage Situation podcast, Mr. Iain Chambers. Brother, it's so good to have you here, man.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like that's too hype. You've hyped me up a little bit too much there. I feel like I've got to really deliver now, but I'm excited. It's been a great podcast for you, and this is 2.0. I would say arguably you've leveled up, brother. It's time to get it.
Thanks.
Me and you together, the dynamic duo. Let's do it. I'm happy to be involved.
Yeah, mate. It's so for you guys at home as well. Obviously, this is a collaboration of sorts of two of the biggest esports personalities there are. I mean, I'm not going to undersell this.
That's a stretch.
Ian and I have actually known each other. We've known each other, mate, for a kind of a short time, really. But we both kind of like, we want for you guys to come and join us every single week, where we can just, you guys just enjoy our insight from where we are kind of in the business, really, because we both work as hosts in esports, and it's been amazing. But I think you could agree, the moment we kind of like worked together on a Warzone project, we were just like, there's something kind of good happening right now. There's like a chemistry, like there is something happening.
You want me to tell you what it is? Do you know what it is? It's a mixture of things. One of the key ingredients is we're both a little bit older. As much as we maybe like to duck talking about it, I'm 33. You don't have to disclose your age, Adam, but I've
23.
He's 23.
Yeah.
But I've been a video game fan for decades now. I keep up with everything that's going on. I play all the latest releases. But my first ever console that I really got my hands on was an N64, and I've seen the way it's evolved. And I am, I'm in a privileged position now that I get to work within my favorite field, which is video games. And I know that you're very passionate about it as well. So I think it's a mixture of things that sort of made us click when we first started working together, and it's what's brought us here today. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's wicked. I mean, I think for you guys, I was saying, that kind of that little intro as well, for anyone listening now as well, what's been great is I always wanted to kind of create a series where we did find out about people's kind of like journeys and how they got to, as you said, like N64, like for me, it was like, I remember the NES dude. Yeah, I'm actually 55. That's how old I am. But there's there's a legacy behind everyone's kind of like intro into gaming, into video games. Yeah. And for me, it's like it's celebrating those kind of stories because it is really a huge part. It used to be, as we know, you guys listening, I'm sure, it was very much kind of part of nerd culture that, that kind of stereotype of living in your mum's basement eating pizza, in your pajamas playing games. Very different now. We're seeing.
Well, now you got gamers who live in mansions and drive Ferraris, so just from playing video games. So it's definitely dramatically changed. I think that we live in a culture at the minute where my brother's a school teacher, and he'll stand in front of the class and he'll be like, right, what does everyone want to be? And you've got the top 5 things, and right up in there, you've got, I want to be a gamer. I want to be an esports player. And when I was at school, it was never a thing. It never existed. You could never potentially make a life out of video games. It was a hobby back then, Obviously, there were levels of, you could fly out to Vegas and maybe take part in a Mario Kart competition or something. But now it's a lot more accessible, and there's a lot for us to get stuck into every week, isn't there?
Oh, there really is. And for you guys, listening as well, obviously, who are, you might be unfamiliar with the podcast from what it was before. This is very much a shift now in a great direction because, rather than having just that one, because I felt like, every single week, mate, I was doing a podcast with, particularly the first season was amazing because we had like, great guests from all over who would come to a studio, we'd shoot the thing. And it was, the original plan was to do kind of a podcast every single week, but it just became too stressful because people getting to London to like a studio every week, it was a real, it was a navigational nightmare in terms of getting people to like, get what they need to be and things. So the second obviously season, we were in the pandemic, we recorded everything kind of online, which was great. But now we can kind of do this, and I'm so much more comfortable with the fact that we can kind of, every single week the bands, the rapport that we have as well, we can kind of bring to the podcast, and it's great. I mean, for you guys listening as well, gaming is going to be the focal point of this, but we also want to talk about everything from what's happening online to lifestyle as well as a massive part of things, as well as like sport as well. Big part of just the passions of ours, basically, mate. So tell me, I mean, for anyone who's I can't believe I'm saying this, unfamiliar with Iain Chambers, how did you get into the gaming world in the first place? Like, what was your kind of introduction from a professional standpoint?
Yeah, I you know what? I think that you're being very kind there. I think a lot of people will not be familiar with me yet.
I've until this podcast.
Yeah, I've stepped into to esports over the last like 2 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. But I've been a broadcaster for all my career. I was like a journalist for a long time. Then I got into TV presenting and radio work, and I always wanted to figure out a way into gaming. And an opportunity popped up with the ESL UK division, and I hosted my first event, which was the Rainbow Six UK Finals, the Nationals, and it was amazing. And as soon as I got part of it, I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. And from there, I started to get more opportunities, and it kept building. And I work with Guild Esports, David Beckham's franchise. We do lots of FIFA stuff with those guys, some Rocket League stuff. I work on Valorant. I work on. Do you know what? I work on every game. If I'm being honest, I don't know many games that I haven't worked on, especially in the top 5. Like your Fortnite, your Rocket League, your FIFAs, your Rainbow Six, your Call of Duty. I like to try and think that I'm a versatile host, but I like working within it. And I love the people. That's what I love the most about it. Is like coming from a background of different industries, there's a real positive energy within esports. And I think that from behind the scenes, right, like from the production team to the talent that you work with, there seems to be a real synergy with everybody wanting each other to do well. And I've loved being part of it. That's my journey. But yeah, I do lots of stuff. Check me out wherever you want to find me, because you'll find me somewhere.
Yeah. This is the thing as well. Like we really encourage you guys, like social media wise as well. We got like Twitter and Instagram, all that kind of stuff. All the details will be in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, because obviously we're now filming everything again now, so it's all going to be on YouTube for you guys to check out. Go and check out Savage Situation podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. You'll see our weekly highlights and the actual full episodes as well. But of course, the main podcast too. Like we'll have all the kind of details in there. Whether you're listening to the audio or the video, find us and come and say hello, because we love to meet with you guys, and kind of like, we'd love to kind of, you get questions into us as well. We'll definitely try and share as many as we can as we move forward. But mate, going back to what you were saying about the kind of like the multi-gaming aspect of it as well. Like, I think both of us, like, you guys who listen to this probably know already that I've been working for a while now in the gaming world, probably about 10 years, which has been a decade of that. Wow.
Crazy.
My goodness, it's crazy. But it's been amazing. It's been a massive roller coaster of how things were when I first started to how things are now. Like, there's been a huge kind of like progression in everything.
You've grown with it, haven't you? That's the amazing thing.
Yeah, man.
And I meet people like, you're a rarity. If I'm honest, I feel like especially people who jump across games. I don't know that many who do it. Because it seems to be like talent tend to focus all of their energy on one game, and I completely love and respect that, because it makes you ultra knowledgeable about it. But you've had 10 years of jumping from game to game, and you've built a name for yourself. And I think there's a lot I can learn from you as we go along.
Oh, mate.
I'm sure you can learn from me as well.
We need to buy like some kind of flat immediately and create a gaming den where we can just kind of like grow this bromance. It's going to be huge.
Sorry, I jumped in there. Continue on.
No, mate. I love it. I think. You're right. I mean, 10 years ago, I first started out. People know this already, but Jinx TV. I started working as a presenter there, and it was kind of like it still goes now on Sky, and we've got like there's there's the different formats, different productions, different programs. People know me for the first hour, this kind of Let's Play show that we do, which is great. But the but as time's gone on, like yourself, like this multi-gaming thing and esports, it all kind of came out of nothing really. It was kind of like for a long period of time, I was wanting to be a host, and it was like when I was growing up, it was like I want to host the X Factor one day, and I want to do this and this, and then you kind of saw that gaming. I kind of jumped into this kind of like this YouTuber influencer space as well, where I saw this kind of like suddenly all these kind of YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff were really popping off and getting, particularly YouTubers at the time as well, and they were getting very big very quickly, and a lot of presenters, a lot of hosts like we are now, a lot of people back then did turn their noses up at this world. They were like, oh, it's not, and it was very much this generalized, all these kids who are playing games and making money, it's not fair. And it's like, for my attitude was, this is amazing. This is a whole new kind of like way in which that we can kind of, people now don't need to have a TV company or a broadcasting platform say, oh, here, we'll give you a gig to do this thing for us. They're now saying, I'm going to create my own channel, my own space with my own vibe, my own kind of particular kind of style of video content or whatever, and I can make it my own. And I think I saw that, and I was very lucky, working with Call of Duty and Activision a lot, doing kind of like the blog there, and I worked with a lot of like the big Call of Duty YouTubers, some of which have been on the podcast previously. And so there's this nice balance now of influencers and, kind of like celebs as well, who are all part of this kind of like, there's been part of the podcast. And we're going to get loads more on as well. We'll have guests coming in every now and again. But, I think that's what it's been like. Yeah, you're right. The multi gaming side of things is actually a little bit like, I know that we feel the same vibe on this sometimes. Dude, it can be a little bit overwhelming because there is this kind of, I get this weird imposter syndrome a lot. Like, because I can see people who kind of, people who only play Fortnite or work within Fortnite or only work within COD or whatever it might be, Rainbow Six, like you mentioned, these different games, FIFA. There are people that specifically only do these games. Yeah. So you get to this point, mate, and I'm sure you feel this, where you kind of go, am I good enough to be here? Like, should I be in this position? Have I blagged this?
I think it all comes down to two things, like, and it's what you have to keep reminding yourself. Number one, you can never do enough. You can never do too much research, like when you're going into a gig. If you're getting into a brand new game as a host, you need to make sure that, number one, you do your work, you put in the research. But you're never gonna be as clued up or as familiar with the game as those who live, eat, sleep, and breathe it. Because you can't be, because you do other games that you need to know about, or whatever else. You can't just hone in on one particular genre. And it is tough. You step in and you just got to remind yourself that you are doing that role. And it's like anyone, you listening to this right now, whatever job you do, whatever it is that you do better, that you feel like you do better than anybody else, and you get employed to do that, you need to remind yourself why you are there, and it's because of who you are and what you bring to the table. And that's something that you always have to remember when you get booked for a gig. But I think you bring a lot of energy to the table, Adam. I mean, this can't just be becoming like a pat on the back show, can it? But you're right.
Yeah.
And just echoing back to what you said about how it's changed over the last 10 years. I was speaking to I've got some friends. I'm out in Portugal. I'm sure we'll discuss it in a minute. I'm out in Portugal. I have been filming a Euros football show.
I can't wait
here.
to discuss this. I cannot wait to talk about this.
But I'm surrounded by people who are a lot older than me, and they're used to their Sky TV subscriptions and flicking through channels 1 to 5 or whatever else on TV, and they're like, so what you're going in the bedroom to do what? And where is that? That's shown where on Twitch? What's Twitch? And then I have to explain and what I love about Twitch, and you spoke about it there, is that it's given every single person on the planet with an internet connection and a webcam an opportunity to broadcast their own individual content. And I love that. I love that it's just opened up the world for people to show who they are to an audience. And you see it. If you force it, it's never going to work. The most impressive and most popular Twitch streamers and channels are those who've just organically gone on there and seen what's happened, and it works. And I love that because I don't know. I just think it's a wonderful place to be, and people judge it from the outside world and go, "Oh, what people watch people play video games? That's so weird." No, try watching it and see why these people are watched and why they're so entertaining. Yeah. I think we're in a good spot. I love it.
Yeah, mate. I'm with you. I think I think the last year as well with the pandemic and stuff as well. Basically everyone was at home, and if there was ever a chance to get into streaming, it was right. I'm gonna. This is my opportunity. I'm at home doing nothing else. I can get, I can actually, and we're so lucky now with particularly Xbox and PlayStation as well to a degree. you click a button and you broadcast into your channel. There's no like, you don't necessarily need like, top end cameras or microphones. You should have a, kind of like a camera that comes with the system, and then you back in some headphones and bish bash bosh, you're ready to rock and roll.
And if you're streaming, you're playing your game, like you don't even need a camera, right? You can just be your voice. So it's just like, that's what I mean. It's really good.
Yeah. It blows my mind sometimes, actually. I'm watching streams. I'm like, oh, some people have got like sick like transitions and like these crazy pop-ups and like, audience interactions like they're using their, their what do you call those Elgato kind of, what do you call it? So you're kind of like flicking things up. They have all these different kind of amazing things going on. Some people, some of the biggest channels literally just go, hey guys, welcome to me playing this game. Here we go. And they're just talking. And it's like, the different, I mean, you're right. It is, I think there's an element of luck, 100%. You've got to get lucky. There's definitely like an element of luck, whether you've been raided, whether you're an OG that's been there for a long time. Like, there's also different kind of reasons that a lot of people kind of transition from YouTube to Twitch streaming and vice versa. But I think, you have to have some kind of talent. So I think doing something different as well. I think what's different now as well, like, coming from the esports space that we do a lot now as well, is that you're seeing that a lot of the biggest streamers right now are pro gamers. Not like, not necessarily, it used to be kind of more kind of entertainment where it's just like, oh, it's really fun to watch. Now it's like, this guy's like the sickest Fortnite player there is in the world. Or, doing that guy, Anders, who had like the FIFA Ultimate Team record, like 15 years old, 300 and something games unbeaten on FIFA Ultimate Team. And everyone's like, what? And that kind of hype, that crazy, everyone wants to watch it. Because it's like, it's just, it doesn't matter if they're talking or not. You just want to see someone who is a boss, who knows the meta down to a T, who just rinses everyone. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's like my Twitch channel. If I'm being completely honest, I've given it time in small chunks. I've never given it the attention it deserves. But a lot of that is because I'm just, I'm quite busy. So I want to take time out to do it. And when I get back home, I am going to get back on there. But the best advice someone ever gave me is, and if you're listening to this thinking, oh, I want to get on Twitch, but I'm a little bit anxious about it, a bit nervous, just fire it up. If you've got one viewer, treat them. That's what you should always imagine. You've got one viewer anyway. You want to be talking to that, making that one person feel really special who's joined anyway, right? And if that viewer happens to be your mum upstairs, that's great as well. Like, it's just all good experience. Just jump on there. If it grows, it grows. But do it for fun. That's what I've been told. Is like never worry too much about the viewership. Just jump on there and be yourself.
Yeah. I think for me, it's consistency, bro. Like, I'm like,
of course it is,
can I putting on a schedule, say, oh, I'm gonna be doing this all next week, and people kind of like live and die by kind of what time you're on, what games you're playing. Yeah. And for me, I'm just like, I can't stick to a schedule because you get offered opportunities here and there, which is so lucky to be in our position. But like, you can't. Someone suddenly says, "Oh, here's an opportunity. Here's a job that you're going to be working all day long for a good day rate where you can survive and support your family, whatnot." You take the work because you want to do the work as well, and so you have to kind of put other things on the back burner. So it is really hard to continuously do that. But that's one of the reasons I'm so pleased we can do this podcast now for you guys and for us as well. Actually, we're just hanging out, but you guys could hang out with us as well. But it's like the fact that we can kind of like make these videos and this podcast series as well, and you guys can listen to it. So that's us. Wicked. That is us. It is us.
Let's get in.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk. Let's talk about what's been going on recently, and we have to, mate, talk about the Euros. We're both big football fans. Yeah. So as of recording this, we have just seen that Italy and England had the final, and they lost. England lost, and I'm sure we could talk about this. But we can analyze the football. We already, before actually pressing record today, we were analyzing the nuts out of different decisions from managers, players, and we could do that. Everyone can do that because everyone's seen it. But
we're not Shearer and Righty, are we? So we can just like
we're not Shearer and Righty, but
exactly.
We at the same time I think personal experiences are what people want to hear about because everyone's had their own experience of the last few weeks, and we've both had some crazy experiences, particularly you, mate. And I've got to talk about this. You mentioned that being out in Portugal, filming a show. Right, tell us about this because I am so jealous of everything that you've just done with your life. What happened? Where were you? What were you doing?
So there's an app called Pitch Football, and it's run by a wonderful woman called Susanna. And what she wanted to do it's a place where football fans can go to discuss, debate, and converse all things football, and to sort of like drive downloads for the app. The idea was, let's have a bit of a TV show where it all integrates, it all comes together. So throughout the entire Euros, we're going to do 22 hour-long episodes just picking apart from the group stages through the round of 16, the quarterfinals, semis, up to the final, where we've got 3 people sat out in Portugal with some cameras talking about everything that's going down in football. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Bring me in. Who's going to be there alongside me? So there's a wonderful sports reporter called Abigail Davies. She works for Sky Sports News and a few other brands as well. And then, of course, England legend, Man United, Inter Milan, Liverpool, midfielder, Paul Ince is going to be there. So Paul Ince is out here. And let's not forget, like, Paul Ince got to the semi-finals in Euro 96. It's legendary. He was a part of that team with Gaza and the rest of the gang. And it's the last time, arguably, since, I mean, there was the World Cup a couple of years ago, but the last real time where the nation has truly believed that it was coming home.
It's coming home. Mate, literally, when you said to me that you were going to be doing a show with Paul Ince, like, for me,
I couldn't believe it. It was crazy.
Both of us, mid-30s, and that era of United, as well. And, I'm a United fan, hence the Mancunian accent. But, like, I've always been a United fan since a kid. And Paul Ince is an absolute legend in my eyes.
Yeah. And he actually is. Like, I remember sitting there watching, I was sitting next to him as recently as the semi-final. We just sat together. And he's going, what do you think of that pass, son? Was that a good pass? Or, like, that was never a free kick. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, am I watching an England semi-final with Paul Ince? And we're discussing tactics and stuff right now. Is that really what's happening? Are we talking about the starting 11 together? Or are we debating? And it was awesome. And the sad thing is that doing a show all focused on England's journey throughout the Euros, I'd never have called that I would, number one, be doing it, but then number two, be part of the journey through to a final. It was epic. Crashing out was heartbreaking. We don't need to get into that again. It's done and dusted. I tweeted the other day. I got in my car and I plugged my phone into CarPlay, and the last tune that was playing was "It's Coming Home." There, Three Lions, and it starts playing. This is the day after the final, and I said it was genuinely the same feeling as like hearing Santa Claus is coming to town on like January the 1st. It's that sickening feeling of like Christmas is. You know what I mean?
It's over.
Christmas is over. Like, we've all eaten too much. I just need to get away from this now. But yeah, I know you've had some amazing experiences. I know that obviously, of course, you've watched it, and I'm sure you've got experiences when it comes to watching the game. But you thought, am I right, for a while that you were going to the semi-final at Wembley?
Mate, Jesus Christ, mate. Okay, I got scammed at the Euros. I cannot believe that. But do you know what? All right, for you guys, context here. I'm someone who is very savvy, usually very, very savvy with the way in which I savage, mate. Yeah. I'm very savvy in the way that I go about technologically. Like, I know when I wouldn't should. I ask the right questions. I'm not afraid. I'm not gullible. Basically, I'm very good at kind of judging when is right to do something and not. And I always have been, which is why I kick myself more than ever about what happened to me. Okay, so context-wise, obviously, I'm someone who's always been a bit slow and late to the party when it comes to buying tickets for particularly for football matches, like or shows like or kind of like I live literally next to the O2 arena, and there's so many massive acts coming through, and I'm always like, oh yeah, I'll buy tickets eventually, and they're all sold out, and I think I could have got there in like 5 minutes, and I've not, I've missed out on this amazing event. Yeah. So I'm always really late to it. So to have the foresight to say, I'm going to buy my tickets, a year ago and hope that England get to where they need to be in the semis or particularly when it's at Wembley and stuff, or even the finals, just didn't think to do it. And as the tournament's going on, I got more and more into what was happening. And I was even working the night of the Ukraine game. I actually was working, doing a fortnight show during that, so I had it on in the background very cheekily. Yeah. And I was so swept up in that, and then the Denmark game came around, and I was like, okay, this is going to be happening. This is actually a thing that's a semi-final at Wembley. I want to try and get a ticket, and I knew that they were out there. I knew that there was a possibility to get one, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna take a punt here and try and find something. And this is when I totally let my guard down, and I was like, okay, I'll try and find someone to sell me a ticket. They're kind of going for a couple of few hundred quid if I'm lucky to go to the semi-finals. And I stupidly found this strange. Didn't know the guy. And it was online, it was on DMs and stuff, and reached out about like a ticket that he had basically had 4 tickets for sale. I'll share the scam story, mate, because it's like I like to think that I was being smart, but clearly I wasn't. And this guy's like, right, I've got 4 tickets, 2 of which are me and my missus, and there's 2 tickets going spare. We're not going to use them. We're going to sell them. And I was like, oh, amazing, it's great. I'll go with a mate of mine, or had you been here, mate, I would have said to you to go. But yeah, it's like I'll ask and I'll see what I'll inquire. So we're texting back and forth, and I was like, how much do you want for them? He was like, make me an offer. What would you what do you think? And I was like, and I offered him. I thought 250 quid for a ticket is not bad, and I kind of went in a bit less than that. We kind of came to that agreement. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I need proof. I want proof that you've got these tickets, because the whole thing, like, as I'm sure you guys are aware, probably listening to thinking, you total gooseberry savage. But still, like, I basically, everything's done via the UEFA app now. There's no like kind of actual physical tickets. It's all kind of online mobile tickets.
Yeah.
You have to have a profile. Someone can buy a ticket and send you it. So it's really easy to kind of send tickets to people, but you can you obviously have them on your phone. So I said, send me a screen grab of the seats where the seats are sitting, and send me a screen grab of the tickets themselves, which he had. He had the actual screen grab. He said to me, give me a few minutes, I'll get this for you. I thought, okay, fair enough. That's fine. I'll wait a few minutes. And I waited like 10 minutes. He got them to me. Had the seat view, decent. Had the tickets, and he'd scrubbed out the kind of seat numbers things, but it was a legit ticket for the Denmark game. Like, it was like what it would look like on the app, and I kind of made sure to check that. And I thought, oh, okay, this is what. So whatever happens, this person either got a ticket or they know someone who's got one who's given them this screen grab. So I started asking more questions and this and that, and it was going back and forth. And we came to this agreement that basically, this is a really long-winded story, but I thought as a scammee, it prevents you guys from listening, and you as well from getting scammed in the future, mate. So I was like, okay, cool. And I'm getting a little bit nervous because I know that these things are going to go like hotcakes. It's a semi-final, and England are in it against Denmark. So he says
commit.
to me,
you commit,
mate. Like, you're
shipping the money.
You have to take a punt. I mean, I told you the next morning that this had happened to me, and you were like, at the end of the day, mate, I kind of get it. You have to take a punt for these kind of things. I mean, had I been one of the persons that went to the final and spent like $3,000 and got scammed, I'd have been pissed. But I was like, I felt a bit mugged off. But anyway, we went back and forth, and he said, right, 2 tickets is 500 quid or whatever. And I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll buy 1 ticket, and you send me that first. And then if it's legit, then I'll buy the second one. So I kind of made sure to kind of give myself a little bit of protection, not go kind of gung-ho and buy 2 straight off the bat. Because I would have happily gone on my own. I'm one of those guys who would happily go to the cinema by myself if I needed to. Like, I've got no problems doing that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's full. That's fine. Bought a ticket, and I transferred the money. And then he said, okay, waiting for it to come through. It's not come through yet. And then this is the thing that really got me. The guy was like, we were kind of having a chit-chat on DMs, like very casually. Just like, you're excited for the game, yeah, I really am. There was the warning signs were kind of being repressed, because I was like, okay, it seems like he's actually fine. It's not just taking my money and run. And he kept saying, oh, it's going through a bank yet. And I sent them a receipt, and I said, it's definitely happened. My bank, I called my bank, and I said to my bank at that time, I was like, has the money gone? They were like, yeah, it's definitely left your account. So it's gone. Luckily I've got kind of fraud prevention kind of on my account. So it's good. So I was like, okay. And it got to the point where he then said something. He then said to me, he said, I tell you what, the payment's not come through, but what if you send me another 100 quid? Because that should bump the first payment to come through quicker. And I was like, oh, it's your horses, mate. What?
Yeah.
And I straight away went, send you another 100 quid to bump the first payment.
That's not a thing.
This is not the Wild West. I'm not some schmuck, mate. I thought, that's not a thing. So I said to him, no, I'm not comfortable doing that. That's not going to happen. Why don't you send me the ticket, and then I'll know it's because he's got my Twitter profile. I'm a legitimate person. Yeah. Don't get me started on verification ticks, because that's a total nightmare. But still, like, I'm a legit person following whatever. This person was not. This person, like, I don't know why I was being so stupid. I kind of fell for it. But long story short, yeah, he went back and forth for a while. He asked me again. He made a few spelling mistakes, like basically, like he spelled Wembley wrong, and I was like, what?
Mate,
these little things.
The signs were there.
The signs were there, mate, and I thought, oh no, I've been mugged off here. And it went back and forth. I didn't get anything through that night, and it was like, I'll check my bank, and first thing in the morning, go into my DMs. The guy's blocked me.
There you go.
He's changed his profile name, and I thought, oh, he's had me. So bottom line, mate, I think in future I need to just be a lot. I think I let my guard down because I wanted to be there that badly. So for all you guys listening, just be mindful. I got so schooled by the guy at the bank as well. He was like, "Did you read all the scamming information on the purchase, like on the app?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." And he was like, "In future, just give yourself 5 minutes before making a decision." I thought I'm like a child now, and I was like, "Yes, Daddy." Yes, I'm sorry. So, lesson learnt, mate, I guess.
Hey, we still won the semi at least. Just forget about the final. It's fine.
We'll forget that. But, mate, I mean, let's talk some gaming news as well, dude. I've just seen, actually, in the last few hours, like, this is crazy. This just dropped. Super Mario 64. What is
one of the greatest games of all time. One of the greatest games of all time.
Mate, I agree. I got the Switch version last year as well. Like, I recently got that kind of like the when you get like all 3 games for like in one. So great, dude. In the last few hours, it's been confirmed a mint condition copy of Mario 64 has just sold for a record $1.5 million, bruv. What the f?
Well done. Are you on about the NC? You've been saying right. So this can't be true. 1.5 mil.
It says, and I quote here, dude, sealed mint condition copy, Mario 64, which works out 1.1 million quid, pounds,
my God.
Making it the most expensive video game ever sold, mate. Official.
No, listen to me.
Jesus.
Listen to me.
Jesus.
Right.
Come on.
Last
here we
year.
go. He's having a meltdown.
Year.
Yeah.
No. This is no joke.
Okay.
I've got footage. I've got video proof of this. I can send it to you.
Okay.
Last year, I held Super Mario 64 sealed in my hand and could have bought it for $3,000.
What?
I'm not joking.
Are you mental? Like what?
I'm not going to say where the shop is. I'm not going to say where the shop is because I'm going back as soon as I get home. But so basically,
let's say, are you mental? Says the person who got scammed football tickets. Fair enough. Sorry, mate. Wow, how did you get that?
All right, so coming soon, I've got a series coming out that I've filmed with a friend of mine where we go to lots of the last retro video game shops across the UK, and we explore what some of the rarest and amazing items they have in the shop. And one of the items was his favorite item was a sealed copy of Super Mario 64. And I said, how much are you selling this for? He said $3,000. I nearly fainted, and I was like, will you take $1,000? And I was messing around with him. And he said, I won't sell for any less than 3. And I thought 3 was ludicrous. But now I've seen this, I'm kicking myself and I don't know what to do.
Dude, mate, it says, honestly, what I'm saying here is, okay, so the sale value is nearly double that of the previous record. Can you guess which game it was? Anyway, you guys at home can guess this as well. Any ideas?
Legend of Zelda.
Mate, bang on, brother.
Had to be.
Yes.
Had to be.
On the NES from 1988, which had been set just 2 days. It had been set 2 days before this record. This is crazy. At $870,000, so £744,000.
All right,
just
let me ask you this.
2 days before. Jeez, man.
Let me ask you this, right?
Go on.
You buy sealed copy of Super Mario 64. I had this debate when I was holding the other one that was $3,000.
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Here's the question, right? Do you spend the money so you can have it on display on the wall?
Yeah.
Or do you spend the money so you can have that experience that you had in the mid-90s one more time where you peel it open, pull it out of the box, look through all of the packaging, flick through the booklets, take the cartridge, smell that fresh out the factory.
ASMR mode here. Oh, yeah.
That fresh out the factory smell on that cartridge. Oh, is that worth 1.5 mil? Of course it's not. You put it on your mantelpiece, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. In a locked cabinet, like a safe. I
Yeah,
mean, that
sure.
is. I mean, that. Do you know what? I think it's all part and parcel of this kind of current climate where I've seen the last year, like Pokemon cards gone through the roof. Like anything collectible of like in that kind of again like in nerd culture to a degree. Anything which is worth something worth a lot. I mean, seeing like a fully someone somewhere has actively gotten this copy of Mario 64 with the sole intention of one day this will be worth a few bob.
And we all hail that person as a genius now, don't we? It's just the way it is.
I mean, £1.1 million for a seal. I mean, the thing is, if you're ludicrously wealthy and you want to have the best of everything, I mean, why the hell not? I think it's.
I don't care how rich. If I was, and I don't think I ever will be, but I don't care how rich I could be. I would never spend 1.1 million on a video game. I'm just putting it out there. I don't think I would.
I definitely would not. I think it's one of these things where we're so blessed now to live in an age as well, mate. Like where you have pretty much access to every single game going. You know, if you need to use it, some people use emulators to play the old school games, or like the Switch has done, brings out like a lot of the old school games. Like they've got this new the Switch on the Nintendo kind of membership, the online membership side of things. You can download like the NES and SNES game kind of apps in there and play like the old some like absolute like Zelda: A Link to the Past, like my game of like all games. Like what a game. Amazing game. And you've got all these different, like you can play all these games on there. So unless you want to have just that item to say, I own this, I have this. And plus as well, it's a bit of a coup to say I've got the most expensive video game of all time on my shelf.
That's true.
Or I'm just the biggest mug that paid that much money for it. But still, hey, it's an accolade. I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Before we move on, I just want to say we spoke about like being a millionaire or whatever there. I just want to confirm and explain. This is not my room. This is this marble floor is not my marble floor. It's not a green screen either. Like this is where I am. But I'm borrowing a room at the minute, so it's got good Wi-Fi from the person out here that booked me. I've got a small apartment.
All right, Billy, big time. All right, do you know what? It's amazing. I mean, so are you? I guess when it comes to like things like games, I mean, you're a big Switch fan anyway as well.
Yes.
Like, are they bringing out a new Switch? Aren't they? Like an OLED version? Hype for it? Care?
Yeah, the OLED Switch. The thing is, I'm a sucker, and I don't know about you. If you're a hardcore, super hardcore Nintendo fan like me, you will buy whatever they put out, no matter what. Like, for me, like, I remember every console that's ever existed, and then there's an upgrade for it. I think it probably started with the DS, and then there was, like, the smaller DS, and then there's, like, the 3DS, then there's the 3DS XL, and I always just make the jump and keep going with it, because I like to be, there's one company I don't mind giving my money to, it's Nintendo. And then, like, with the Switch, I was so excited because there was rumors, wasn't there, that was swirling that there was going to be a 4K Nintendo Switch. So then I'm starting to have just vivid dreams when I go to bed about playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 in 4K. And I'm thinking, this is what dreams are made of. And when you've got the Xbox Series X, you've got the PS5 rocking and rolling. I'm thinking, right, Nintendo really have to get ahead of the game here, step up. They're never going to have that power of graphics. I wasn't expecting that, but they have to go 4K is the way I'm looking at it. If you're going to compete with these big boys in today's market. And they didn't. They upgraded the screen for the Switch itself, which, debatably, it's all right. It's a little bit bigger. It is going to be a better quality screen. But I don't know what the deal is when you dock it and you play it on the telly. Is it the same experience as before? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm disappointed. Will I buy it still? Yes. But did I want a 4K Nintendo console? Absolutely, I did.
I mean, you're right. I mean, it's one of these weird things now where you kind of have a certain expectation of like clarity, like when it comes to games. I mean, as a PS5 owner, got lucky. People are still waiting for a PS5, which blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got lucky, like the day of release, I got one, and for me, the graphically, yeah. They're absolutely top. They're top dollar, man. They look amazing. But that wasn't the thing that blew me. It was the loading times, mate. It was the processor, how quickly, like literally, I'll turn the thing off, I'll turn it back on. It takes me to where I was within like 3 seconds. And I'm like, on like Mars Morales, which is like a prop. I mean, I love those Spider-Man games, dude. I love those Spider-Man games. Like the new Spider-Man game. Literally, like I couldn't believe how quickly I was back in there. But you're right. When you play games like Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be an absolute. I mean, it's going to be an absolute game changer, isn't it? It's going to be so big. But the fact that Breath of the Wild 1 now, I mean, Nintendo are very kind of like they're very good in the way that they know the value of all their games, and they don't really do any kind of reduction on prices. They seem to kind of like consistently. Breath of the Wild now is the same price it was back when it first came out.
I like that. For some reason, I like that. I don't know what it is. It's been the case with all of the big Nintendo games, like you said. They all hold their value because it's not like it's not a come and go game. You see lots of third party games like your FIFAs or whatever. There's obviously another one next year, and they come and go. Whereas Zelda, I think big part of their branding with it all is that this is here to stand the test of time. Like the video game, we don't just rush this out. This is a masterpiece that we've put out. Because Breath of the Wild 1, let's be real, it's a masterpiece. It's, in my opinion, the greatest game to ever exist in the history of video games. So Breath of the Wild 2...
I'm going to put a counter argument to that a little bit.
Let's go.
I've got a bit of a problem. I agree. I think it could be one of the best games, if not the best game of all time. But for me as a gamer, my problem is this. My problem is time. And I think with Breath of the Wild, I multi-game so much as part of just like our work, mate. I multi-game so much that when you've got a game that expansive, that big, that vast, that beautiful, it kind of scares me a little bit because I know that unless I commit 100% to that, people have invested hundreds of hours into that thing.
I did.
Yeah, you did, and you know, you got every bit of bang for your buck, and you loved it, and it's become this kind of like your favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
But for me, it was one of these things where I loved it and appreciated it so much, but it kind of overwhelmed me. And I don't know if anyone who's listening, I don't know whether you're kind of in Camp Ian or Camp Sav here, but it for me, I think it was just the fact that linear sometimes for me is just easier because it's, and this is a really sad thing to say, but I like the fact that there's a beginning, a middle, end. That's why Minecraft, I played a lot of Minecraft before, but I never really get fully into it because there's not really a narrative or something that I need to follow. I think I like being told what to do.
Do you like a cinematic experience as well?
I do.
Where you're part of, you're almost like thrown into a film. Like I played the latest Yakuza on my Xbox.
I played that. Look amazing.
Yeah, and I loved it. But like for me, I enjoy that, but I don't see it as escapism. And like in the same way that when I sit up and pick up my pad and play Rocket League, or I sit up and play FIFA, or I play Call of Duty, or whatever, Valorant, if you pick it up and play it, it's like, it's not escapism for me. That's competitive gaming. It's like you throw yourself in, you compete, and then you get out, and it's like you get a buzz off for either winning or losing. Whereas with Zelda, for me, it was complete and utter escapism. It was, if you've had a long, hard day at work or something bad's happened, you've had an argument with your girlfriend or whatever, and then you get in and it's like, all right, I'm going on Zelda, and you just escape. And that's what I loved. That's why I could sink hours into it, because that world for me was so nice to be in.
Yeah.
I could be there forever. I'm not forever, but I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I totally appreciate it. I think it's just me. Like it says a lot. I got the new Ratchet and Clank Wild Rift game recently.
Yeah,
and never been a massive Ratchet and Clank fan, but I love platformers. Looked sick. I mean, it is, and it is a beautiful looking game. It's so great. But I find myself, this is my problem, because of timings, cinematics pop up. I'm skipping cinematics and thinking, I'll read the storyline on Wikipedia later. Just get me through completion.
I can't do it.
And that's so bad. Like, I know that for me, that is such a bad way of playing the game. And I'm going to get a lot of boos and hisses. I can hear you.
You're not though, because I've got to jump in, because you are not a bad guy for that. Do you know why? Because you're also a father. So
Thank you. Yeah,
it's true. But like, for me, like, I've said about having an argument with a girlfriend. I'm actually single at the minute. I have no commitments or kids, which is why I'm able to fly out to Portugal for a month and record a football show.
We've been lying to all of you. Actually, this is not a podcast to celebrate gaming, lifestyle, online, whatever it might be. This is just basically to get Ian a new missus. This is actually like his dating audition.
This is Tinder, isn't it? Yeah.
Call in if you're interested.
Yeah. But like, it's when I would always suggest to you or anybody in the same way, like if you ever want to get your teeth like sunk into a real pleasurable gaming experience, I feel like for you have to manage your time, right? In the same way that if you want to book a trip away with your missus, you have to plan it in advance. I feel like you have to be like, all right, so it's Wednesday the 30th of June, on to the 6th of July. I'm going to have 2 hours on The Legend of Zelda with no interruptions. I'm going to lock myself in a room. I'm going to pour a large glass of whiskey, and I'm going to get into it. I feel like that's how you do it. Because if you just try and squeeze it into your daily schedule, it's not going to work. You need that time.
Mate, and this is it. This is the most ironic thing about everything in my life is I work in games. I love games.
Yeah.
I don't have any time to play games.
Play games. Yeah,
and that's the craziest thing. And I'm the same. Like every night, if I'm lucky, there's that 20 minutes between like bedtimes and like dinner where I can squeeze in a quick FIFA game, or I can squeeze in a quick Fortnite. Yeah. But I think that's what it's about really. And I just go back to the Nintendo thing as well. Obviously, mate, as well, like as a fanboy as well. You can imagine the last season of this podcast, by the way, if you didn't know, I think you check it out, was sponsored by the Nintendo official UK store, right?
So jealous,
mate. You're jealous. You're part of this. You're part of this legacy now, mate.
I'm jealous that you were sponsored by Nintendo at one point. That was sick.
And I looking back now as well, like, and I put a bunch of stuff out about it as well. The fact that we were so flipping lucky to get that, because they really are very, very picky and choosy about who and where they sponsor things. They always have been. And as a kid who kind of grew up on Nintendo was everything, I put a few posts out about it, like pretty emotional ones as well, because like you, like there's such an affinity for the company. Like it's about family entertainment, isn't it? You know, and we, growing up, it was always gaming with your parents, with your siblings.
Yes.
It was just, and for me, it was like waking up on that Christmas morning. You know, first get, the NES, my dad got it back in, like I think 89 or something. And it was just like, it just changed my life.
I just want to, just to wrap things up Nintendo wise, because I know that I'm really fanboying here. I love
It's allowed.
Xbox. I love PS5. I really do. I think that they offer much wider and more extensive games than the Nintendo consoles have, and I get that. And I love playing them. But I always think Nintendo consoles have such a soul. I used to think that the Sega Dreamcast had the same vibe. Like it was just like, I can't explain it. There was love poured into each of them, each of the games that came out, especially exclusives. And I was worried about Nintendo at one stage. And it was, the Wii was so successful, of course. Every man, woman, dog, grandma, nana, grandpa, everybody was swinging a virtual Wii racket, right? And it's true that everyone was
the
like
nunchuck, right? Was it the nunchuck?
The nunchuck, yeah, and everyone's all that, and then the Wii U comes out, and it bombs pretty much, doesn't it? And I'm thinking, Nintendo have to follow up the Wii U now with something phenomenal to keep them in the game here, and then they come out with the Switch, and I'm like, never write off Nintendo.
One day we can travel again. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon when we can, and we're lucky enough to do something together abroad or something. I know that you and I, the first thing we'll be doing is get sat in our seats, and it's going to be getting the Switch on and just teaming up and 2-player and then nuts out of something. Like we're kind of up in the skies. I just know it's going to happen. But that's the beauty.
And we'll be on our way to that Nintendo land. I think it's in Japan somewhere.
Bro, can you imagine we go there and vlog that? Oh my god, like that would be. But that is something else. We've got to go there. Like, okay. I don't know what we can do.
Are we saying it now? Are we going? Are we saying it? Yeah.
We're gonna go to Japan, dude. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go to. Is it Super Nintendo Land? Right. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys want to see this. I would love to know in the comments whether you guys are going to go and whether you're interested to kind of see more, because I think that could be such a sick place to. They could be listening right now. I don't know if there's like an exec who's just found this. Hey, can we come? Can we just come? Like, just let.
If we come, then we can just give every single person who wants to watch the video a real proper insight into what it's like from the eyes of two hardcore Nintendo fans, and then we can just show you if it's worth going, right?
Oh my mate, this is genius. This began as a brand new podcast 2.0 and ended up in us basically selling our souls to go to Nintendo down in Japan. So that's
ended up with a massive pitch, yeah.
Well, on that note, guys, everyone that's joined us today, thank you so much for hanging out and for joining us as we relaunch this podcast. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, like Iain and myself are going to be bringing this to you guys on a weekly basis. We want to kind of make this a kind of like a very inclusive environment where you guys can just jump in the comments, get in touch with us on social media. All of our social media links and whatnot are going to be in the description on YouTube. Do check out those videos there. Obviously on the podcast as well, we'll have everything in there too. And we're going to get guests on. We mentioned like Paul Ince earlier. I'd love to get him on. There's like footballers. There's going to be like star celebrities. Like we've got a list of people that's on the wish list. That are going to come on and talk to us about like life, the universe, and everything.
And video games.
And video, but yeah, most importantly, video games, dude. Video games. Thank you guys so much for listening. The Savage Situation podcast is officially back, baby. And we cannot wait to see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Iain,
yes,
I'm going to hop on the Switch, mate. I want to charge that puppy and get cracking.
Do you know what? When I fly back from here, I'm going to try and recomplete The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild one more time.
That on a flight from Portugal. Good luck.
2.5 hours. It's not getting done.
Yeah,
thanks for having me. Thanks for having me,
mate.
Sav. It's been a pleasure, brother.
Mate, you too, mate. And of course, we'll see you again on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Until then, bye-bye for now.